And as I think about our founding fathers, and if you actually read their documents, they talk about their faith and their allegiance to God and their higher calling. The idea that sitting on the hill. And as you read throughout, specifically George Washington, one of my favorite presidents. In fact, Ron Chernow just put out a great book on Washington. It's a little long, it's about 1,000 pages, but hopefully I have time. But it's an incredible book, and it talks about his faith. It talks about his beliefs. And it talks about all the things that took place that allowed us to find victory and freedom over the British. And to think about it, could that struggle of today be harder than it was for George Washington? No way, no how. And Washington brings up, I think, a fun saying that I like to use as well. He writes in his same diaries, he said, "We are out of money. Now we must think." And so that is where we are as a state right now. We are, as Anna Terry put it well, we are out of money. We're going to have about $3,620,000,000 less than we had last year to spend. So what do? You raise taxes? You do what? Spend less. We have made an absolute pledge, like the North Star, we will spend less period. And I think we all recognize that it's fun to clap for that. We all believe that. But these are some tough calls. Education is my vehicle to opportunity. As you don't know, I'm a college professor, and I've been teaching since 1993. I started teaching when I was 11. But that said, the ultimate civil right isn't education. So we're going to make some tough calls on issues like education, like healthcare, for that matter, transportation. One of the transportation decisions we made just yesterday was the high-speed rail, I guess, would be nice to have. We can't afford it. We're going to send money back to Washington. When we send it back to Washington, ask Washington to do what we do when we don't spend money. You put it back in the bank account and we just spend it elsewhere. Because we're almost $15 trillion in debt right now. And that is wrong. And what do we have to show for it? Very little. Very high unemployment. That's why we sent people like Marco Rubio to Washington. But as I believe we all read the Bible each morning and talk about it during the day. But to also be clear that what the Bible speaks about so often is leadership by example. Christ was our Savior, but He was also a leader by example. That was His greatest trait. He didn't tell you what to do, He showed you what to do. And He always put other people first. And so that idea, as we face these challenges together, Anna Terry and I looked at our own spending habits. We looked at, in other words, what money we directly control every single day. One of the things that Anna Terry and I control, and she being one of the persons who is my main advisors, we looked at our own Senate budget and our operating costs. And we looked and we asked ourselves over the summer, can we spend less and still provide the same exact service? I am happy to report on the first day that Anna Terry was sworn in as a senator of the state of Florida, she also reduced the spending by 15% in her own chamber called the Florida Senate. And it's that kind of leadership that it's going to take. It's going to be like my parents, and you, and your parents, and your grandparents did. They tightened their own belt first, and that's how they lead children. And that is what we're going to do in the same regard here in the state of Florida. If we tighten our own belt first, anything is possible. Plus, our children will see that we are doing that, and they will make equal sacrifice. Democrats are Americans too. And the idea is that we've defined some common ground. Because one of the things that really disturbed me, I don't know if it disturbed you, is that this recent bill, they now call it, I think it's called Obamacare. Have you heard about that? The most expensive program in the state of Florida is not our education system. It is a program called Medicaid. Medicaid. It is a welfare, a transfer of wealth program that gives folks free health care because they don't make much money. But here's the bad news. It is a poor quality of care, it is poor access to care, and it is too expensive a care. And so in the state of Florida, as we spend over $21 billion on this program, meaning less to keep in your pockets, it does not provide the things that we need. And what is even more disappointing about it is that what did Washington, D.C. decide to do with this poor quality plan? You would think a plan that doesn't work very well, costs too much money, they want to get rid of that one. The program now called Obamacare will increase that program in the state of Florida by 50%. We can't afford that. More importantly, people who are on that system can't afford that quality of care. And so what do we do to turn this around? I'm just not here to bash something. Because as a conservative, let's not just be Dr. No. let's be the people of better ideas. And here's the better. We recognize that welfare as we know it is broken. People, meaning children, were seeing their parents not go to work, yet still make a wage. We send all the wrong messages. It was creating what we call a cycle of poverty since the 1960s. So a Democrat president and a Republican Congress got together and said, you know what, we're doing it all wrong in Washington. Let's give states some flexibility to engineer a program that actually works with the individual states and, more importantly, breaks the cycle of poverty. With that flexibility, by the way, you also have to have accountability. You can't just get it one way here. You've got to make it both ways. And so we took responsibility as a state. And we have a more flexible program that works for individuals. And I'm proud to say that the welfare rolls in the state of Florida, after we gained flexibility, reduced by 60%. Common sense leadership. And so what we're asking right now, as we see this Obamacare literally barreling down upon our state, we are asking Dean Cannon, the Speaker of the House, myself as the leader of the Senate, and as the Governor's favorite, we're going to ask Washington, D.C. for something very simple, something that has worked historically and is bipartisan. We will ask for what is known as a waiver, just like they got back in 1996, so that we can engineer a Medicaid system that works for the patient first instead of the government first. I believe in patient-centered healthcare, not government-centered healthcare. Has anyone seen the matrix of this new plan? Before you help one person, I think they're creating over 167 new departments.
Absolutely.
That's right. So what we're asking for is common sense, historical solution that empowers the individual, but must take responsibility and say no. So that is our first step. Our second step is this. Again, leadership by example. As Senator Terry led the fight to cut spending by 15% in the Senate, what we also must do is that our benefits package should not be superior to the people who pay the taxes. Amen. I am a public servant first. So when you look at my benefit package, whether it be for health care or pensions, it should not be superior to the people who pay the taxes. What we're seeing right now is that most of the private sector has moved to what we know is defined contribution. That means 401k, individual retirement account. That is where the state of Florida will go as well, because we can't afford the current benefits package as is. We will start making that transition so that our packages reflect yours. And in that same vein, it's also about freedom. Because as the pastor talked about in his opening comments, you got to get out of debt. You got to take responsibility. With a IRA or a 401k, it's your retirement. First and foremost, as Senator Terry mentioned, in our families. Not making it a government-centered program that's centered towards the government's needs. That's the difference between ourselves and how we won and why we fought and how we will, in the future, win a thing like the Cold War. We fought against centralized bureaucratic states. We fought against the Democrats. We fought because we believe in individual rights instead of government rights. Let me close with a couple things, and if you have questions, I'll be happy to answer. This story of America is only as strong as this generation is. I teach U.S. history. It is the greatest, second greatest story ever told. You might have heard the first called the Bible. Yeah. So with this story that is told, each generation picks up, passes it along. I think Martin tells a remarkable story about his fight and his opportunity as what his parents provided with his parents. This is our time. This is how you lead. This is what I think is exciting and why I'm willing to spend so many nights away from my family, and my wife is willing to give me permission to spend so many nights away from my family. Because there is something bigger than ourselves. That's why all of us in this room have faith. And that's why all of us in this room have accepted Jesus Christ as our Lord and Savior. Because we know there's something bigger than ourselves. That is the price. That is the gift that going to heaven. Is that we know that we did our part. And so as we make these challenges today, let's always remember that there is something bigger than ourselves. And I'll close, and my dad always told me to my long last name, short speeches, long political career. So I hope I'm getting that. I want to make sure that's clear. And this is a blessing. And again, my father was born in this country. And his son has the opportunity to lead what will soon be the third largest state in America. And what we're going to do in the next 90 days is do our best to make you proud. to look up at Tallahassee and not live the old Bill Rogers attitude where there's nothing safe in the legislature's in session. We're going to make it just the opposite. Your rights will not only be safe, but be enhanced in the legislature's session. We're going to spend less, no new taxes, and make sure that parental rights that Anna Terry has talked about today are protected. And if we move in that direction, the best days in America are still ahead. Thank you very much.